everybody, in the news. Michael De Silva's here, preacher from New Hunter Church of Christ. We still need to raise $1,000 to scribe. We need to raise $1,000, folks. You know, Trudy Boone, you know. Just to name a few people that donated in the past that have not been lately. Want to say, a couple other people there. You know, Lori Carter and a couple people. Hope y'all can help out a little bit. And, you know, maybe tell people about De Silva's Media, and that's another way. Buy some of our cleaning products at this time, because we need to raise over $1,000 for our calls. And, yeah, I could do computer work, too, first-rate computer work. I have clearances in Security Plus, Network Plus, and also in working on all types of computers. I mean, you know, there's been over 11 motherboards, different types of motherboards that come out. Yep, since its inception, it's been 11 different Pentium boards that have come out. You know, since back in the day in the early 90s, in the 80s when they had computers, and 60s is actually when a computer first came out, but they weren't as fancy as the ones we got now that do quantum computing and quantum, you know, action. So that's something to think about, folks, you know. And of course, to get in the news segment here, you know, by you helping out, you can call me up at 804-789-9370 to make a donation. Please be generous. You know, one guy gave $80 and he did it over the phone through the credit card machine. So just call 804-789-9373 and we can do your credit card. You'll see the Silva's Media come up on your statement, so you can use that for your taxes. And then, of course, we appreciate those that have given. So maybe you might want to give 100, or maybe you want to give 500. Maybe you want to feel challenged and be pushed to do that. But, you know, we really need to raise money at this time so we can continue doing the fight and talking about the news that really matters and talk about the Lord and everything, because it takes money, because all this stuff I do is free as a labor of love. And I'm counting on you guys so we can raise this money so we can make the necessary changes and get the necessary things that we've been long over needing for about over a year or so now. So if you can help us out with those things, please make a donation today. You can mail it to us at 7110 New NEW Hunter Road, Apartment 423, Mechanicsville, Virginia 23111. And of course, another way you can help out, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, and subscribe there too. Spread the word about us. And, of course, let's get into the news. Well, in the news, Bilderberg has been going on. I coin it as Builder Turd, because nothing really good comes out of that cesspool of meeting. All it is a bunch of weirdos that get together that are gay, and they just kiss each other and touch each other on the butt and do other kind of weird stuff in there. And they're cocky, and they think they own the world and own everybody and think they have power over everyone. That's just their illusion, though, but that's how they act, most of them. And, of course, they're meeting in Virginia this week to discuss the things like the Paris Treaty, which Donald Trump, our president, gladly pulled us out of that disaster embargo, because that would have costed us lots of jobs. And he's right, it would have. And it would have definitely cost us a lot more money in taxes with the global carbon tax, which Donald Trump made it clear when he was elected as president that he was not going to allow that to happen to us, which is a wonderful thing. Now, a lot of globalists, they're really mad about this, real upset about this, gnashing teeth and kicking stones and all. And they said, well, we can't definitely, you know, keep America safe since you decide to, you know, back off of that agreement. Okay, so basically they're saying, well, if you follow that agreement like with 200 other nations have done, it was not just us that backed out. England backed out too. You know, we're all bad. America's bad, and England's bad, and London's bad. We all them backed out. But, you know, we're all bad because we backed out because we want to try to restart our country and our economies and get our world back. And, you know, and of course, you know, China has the most polluted cities, and Japan has the most real polluted cities on the planet. People have a hard time breathing and having lots of respiratory, more asthma cases there are reported there by capita than anywhere on the world, because they're in the globe, because it's so polluted there. So they have the nerve to say that we have to meet a higher standard that they're not even meeting. I mean, we put filters on all our nuclear power plant stations here, facilities, to clean the air, and the only thing that comes out of there is just really just harmful steam and water, which really isn't harmful at all. And they want to claim that's global warming. It's ridiculous. And the global warming is really, really, truthfully, in the news, really, it's just a false science. What they've done is they've taken data and kind of twisted it all around to make it fit their agenda. And with the global summit and with the global taxes, and what does that mean, all that gibberish? Well, that means that we would all have to live in 300 feet square apartments called coffin apartments, is what I call them, efficiency apartments. And if you lived in like an apartment like this apartment here, well, you wouldn't be able to live there because, because it's considered bigger than what they require. That's part of the global Paris, summit treaty. It's also in there. There's a lot of things in there you don't know about, but that's basically what it's doing, is taking freedom away from the people, and basically taking it and giving it to globalist bureaucrats that are going to just use it however they see how it's fit to use. And at the same time, it's going to kill a lot of jobs and kill the economies in countries when you sign on to this thing. And all these people are upset because we didn't sign on to this thing. But Donald Trump did the right thing when he said no to it. I really do believe that. Because most of the things he's done, he's really doing. And it's just that everybody wants to kick and shoot teeth and show nails instead of looking at what he's really doing. It's just what people do. It's a byproduct. So we need to understand that behind this world global initiative, that we want to have peace and freedom and entrepreneurship and enterprise. That's what made this country so rich. And see, what they want to do is take away that, hijack that, and, really is what they're doing, and then come up with this other agenda that really imposes sanctions or takes away, robs people of their freedoms and ideas and their way of life, so they can be poor and destitute, so they have to be in the system in order to get help, rather than producing for themselves services and or goods that can help improve their lives, not only their lives, but also the lives of countless other people in America and also around the world. So it's a global thing. It's not just affecting America, but it's global on a global scale. And, this is things that it talks about in Revelation that will happen, where, 120 some men will be in power, and then the Antichrist will soon come after that, and the Antichrist will kill all the competition off, and he'll take over all the competition and wipe all those other people out. That's what the Bible does say about that in Revelation. And that's what we see happening right now. Satan hasn't come yet, but that's the next thing to happen. That's real big and significant. And a lot of people, don't realize, it's tied into all this Joe Sarno's, what I call, he needs a sore nose and a black eye, because he's trying to create riots in this country as well as all over the world. And these guys should be arrested and thrown away, but nobody's put him in jail. Why? Because he pays people off and gives people kickbacks and bribes, because he's got so much money he don't know what to do with all his evil schemes and or adventures. And President Hillary Clinton, I said that as a joke, President Donald Trump, I said as a joke. She still thinks she's going to be president because she's senile and she's drinking her own coffee, or Kool-Aid really, and JoJo juice. And, all these people want to tie in and try to get her, the leftists, the snowflakes, the really mental disturbed, distraught people want to get her in because they're liberal leftists and they really don't have any sense of knowing what history is and knowing what America is and know how it got to where it is. And they just want to have her in so they can push their agenda to destroy this nation and destroy the free world or free market as a whole country, as well as how it will affect the world. They want to destroy nations like England, London, America, because we understand what freedom is. And America's probably one of the most freest countries in the world, even still, to this day. But the thing is, they want to take that away, okay? You see Islam going up. You see booths going up in other countries around the world where Christianity is there. There's Islam zones in Christianity, and Sharia law or martial law is the same in English as martial law, Sharia law. And that's what they want to do, is try to take over all that with their religion and try to replace our laws in this country with their laws and with their religion and with their practice. See, Islam on the face is more than just a religion. It's also an infraction and a life system that you have to learn. And it operates on 3 or 4 different levels at the same time. It's not just religion, it's also a learning system. It's also a law system and a government system. And then all that stuff functions simultaneously in tandem together. And that's really what the crux of what Islam is really all about. It's taking away the rights of people. Matter of fact, they had a video came out. My uncle sent me a video back in the early or mid 2000s, and it showed projections that Islam was going to take over the whole world's religion base by the end of 2030. And yeah, they're one of the biggest becoming up and coming religions all around. So that's something that we really need to keep our eyes on, and we need to work all the more harder to witness to people that are out here. Because even while all this is still going on, many Islams are defecting and coming to Christianity. So, and we're talking in large drove numbers. They're leaving their faith because they don't like the fact that the religion is really built on a lie and built on a lot of, terrorism and a lot of violence. And a real God that is a real God is a God of love and peace, not a God of false and forgery, and a God that puts people under enslavement or manipulation or intimidation, which is what Islam teaches. But you see, God doesn't work. The real God of this world, which is Satan, that's how he works, and that's how Islam works. But the God of the universe, the real God, Jesus, Jeshua, he doesn't work that way. He doesn't have to intimidate you. He gives you free will to make that choice to either follow him or follow whatever you want. But in the end, if you're not following him, you won't be in. You won't be in heaven. You'll go to hell. Because if you follow anything else other than what's in the Bible, what God says in the scriptures, and you don't follow what he says, well, you're not going to be a part of that regiment that a lot of people think they're going to be a part of. And I was reading this book. It talks about perseverance. I was skimming through it real fast today, just a little bit ago. What is it? Well, a lot of people think this false doctrine, and they twist scriptures around to mean that you can still be saved even though you've sinned or even though you've fallen away. And that's false doctrine. And they say that scriptures actually say this. No, what the scriptures really say is that Jesus prays and hopes that everyone will be saved. But the part rests totally on you by what you choose to do through innate free will is what scripture actually really teaches and what Jesus really actually said to his disciples as he taught it to them, as we are taught that through reading the word today. And it's not free will where you're always saved, once saved mentality, and that they got it all mixed up that works of righteousness, they say that's all carnal works. I understand where some people come along with carnal work doctrine, but when Paul and Timothy, in both the writer in Hebrews, when they're talking about, and even James, when they're all talking about who was a close companion to Paul, he was a confidant to Paul, even an apostle. They all talk about works of righteousness, and the works of righteousness, they're not man-made or carnal. Like to get baptized, some people believe that's a carnal work, a showing of carnal work of you being baptized as being a show, and that nobody needs to necessarily be saved in order to be saved, is what's been taught in perseverance doctrine. But that's not really true, because Jesus said the only way a person can be saved is if they're what? Baptized. And it don't mean by sprinkling, not some enlightenment or some experience on a mountaintop, but it means by immersion. It means baptizo, not ramtizo. Ramtizo is sprinkling, and God does not consider that as a way to be baptized. That's why Jesus wasn't sprinkled into the faith. He was immersed. Well, the same way is true when Beth Ann Shields was immersed, just like Jeremy and John, when they were immersed, they were immersed. They weren't sprinkled into the faith. They weren't prayed into the faith. They weren't lifted up like in some kind of enlightenment in faith, or in some kind of, super perseverance kind of doctrine that's out there. No, Jesus, they came to the cross, the foot of the cross. They realized what they had to do to be saved, and they were baptized because they wanted to do it, because they know, because that's what the scripture says to do. And that's why they did it. Now, of course, Charlie, may have other ideas on that, but they're not scriptural. So I can go by what scripture says, because in the end, you'll win, because the word never lies and never changes. However, people always do. They like to change that doctrine. Let's get back up to the 4th of July. They're talking about terror, riots, false flags. This is being pushed by Joe Soros and the worldly media occupation. I don't know if you've realized this. If you've been under a rock and are in a cave or maybe out of this country on business, or maybe you've just been away from it all, but you just can't deal with it all. I know what you mean. But you have to listen to it because it's what's really happening. They really want to have national riots in this country on July 4th, which is the birth of our country, 1776. Every year we celebrate this commemorative holiday in memorial to show in memory of what our country was birthed to become what it is as America. And that's really what the 4th of July is really talking about, our independence and our freedom and our way of life and why America is so different from everywhere else in the world. And they want to take that away by destroying it all, by ordering various groups and functions that go and burn cities and buildings and properties and houses and businesses. And they want to have riots. And this has all been spread on the dinosaur media like CNN and other platforms. You know, many of them. Washington talks about it. Joe Soros is behind this initiative, and other globalist elitists that want to push this agenda, not just here in America, but worldwide. Come when they have their bicentennial or memorial or memory celebrations, they want to have this unleash protest hell where they destroy cities and things in cities just to unleash terror and social unrest and or disorder. So we need to be aware of that so we can stop these people. If you see something, stop them. You know, if you hopefully don't have to use force or violence, but if it comes to that, you'll have to do that. Because if the cops aren't going to do their job, then you need to step in as a citizen and stop these people from destroying your cities and towns and villages and communities. You know, and hopefully it don't have to come to that, because I don't want it to come to that any more than you do. But the thing is, folks, we got to really, really stop this from happening, because they want to unleash protests, violent protests, and destroying things all over America and around the world during this bicentennial time of rebirth of what we celebrate of Independence Day, 4th of July every year. And that's what they're pushing out there. Folks, be alert, be watching out. This is Michael Silvas in the news. Spiritual. This is a multifaceted thing that's going on, folks, in America and around the world. And there's a lot of dark energy and a lot of bad forces that are at work. Please pray for me. Please donate. Please subscribe. Please help us out. Please help us meet our goal by the end of this month for both the Silvas' Media and New Hunter Church of Christ, and also help give to meet our goal for $3,300 so we can meet our goal and hopefully surpass that for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, which is the MDA in short. Help me get out of jail so I'm not locked up by June 28th. Hope to see you there at Ponderosa. Take care. I love you. Peace. Signing off.